Hello, everyone. I'm Skilty Labastilla of the Society of Filipino Film Reviewers. And this is the roundtable of live action short film nominees. Joining me today are Kyle Nieva, director of Kids on Fire and producer of Filipiniana. Vahn Pascual, director of Alingasngas ng mga Kuliglig. And Kurt Soberano, director of Balay ni Papang. So obviously, we really like your films. No? That's why they're nominated for this category. One other film, Black Rainbow, is also nominated. Unfortunately, Zig Dulay is out of town. Tapos mahina daw yung signal niya, so hindi siya makasama today. And sorry, another film pala, there are 6 nominees, no? Maski Papano, directed by Glenn Barit and Cheta Guillamon, is also nominated. But they couldn't make it kasi may work, tapos may kailangang puntahan. But we're happy that you could join us today, no, para sa ating kwentuhan. So I'll begin by asking you about your background, no? As maybe even growing up as kids, no? Paano nyo nahubog yung inyong creative side, no? Creativity, at how did that lead to what you're doing now, no? As filmmakers? Siguro I'll start with Kyle.
I think I got my creativity from my father. He used to design backgrounds for Disney, Disney movies or TV series. So I always watched him do those. And sa bahay, ang daming buckets of paint and art materials. So he used to do that hand-painted pa yung backgrounds ng cartoons, and not really through Photoshop or digital.
Yeah.
So yun, I think yun, that's where it all started. Then I started parang doing my own backgrounds. Then I got into parang architecture. I even thought na I would be an architect. But then parang I wanted to pursue filmmaking because it's the same as architecture almost. If you're creating all these worlds for people to get into. So I pursued film. I didn't know I would until I was in 4th year high school. So when I got to actually make a film with my classmates, a full-length feature na parang alam mo yung high school na homemade films that you rip off from other films. So ganun lang. So it was really fun then. I thought I wanted to do it for the rest.
That's nice. So, but prior to that, prior to high school, meron ka nang nagsushoot ka na, you had your own video cam, or may ganon ka nang inkling to shoot things?
Maybe photography with mobile phones. Okay. Not really. I never held a camera till high school.
I see.
Because usually mobile phones I would just point and shoot whatever.
Yeah. Curious ako dun sa sinabi mong background. What does it mean when you design a background?
So my dad used to make the backgrounds for cartoons because you usually it's a separate job, you animating the characters and doing the backgrounds. So they used to paint those before the digital age. They hand painted those. Kaya if you notice, yung cartoons before, diba, super obvious yung characters, parang medyo slightly different colors as the backgrounds. Because the backgrounds were really painted, hand painted.
Galing. Tapos paano napasok yung father mo doon? Kasi Disney siya. So parang sa ibang bansa?
I remember he was in Singapore, but he also did. They had an office here.
I
They
see.
were outsourcing Filipino artists.
Galing.
So we have lots of mga Disney classics that are actually made by Filipinos.
Yeah. I'll ask Van next. Paano nagsimula yung creativity mo, Van?
Hello. Sorry, hindi po ma-on yung cam ko kasi sobrang bagal internet na.
That's fine.
Pero ayun po, ang background ko lang po talaga sa pagpipelikula is yung lola ko kasi before, pinipilit niya ako mag-artista sa mga commercials, sa mga teleserye, ganun. Tapos ayun, napilit niya naman ako at umarte naman ako sa mga commercials at saka sa iba pang mga pelikula before na indie. Katulad ng Sisa. Nakalimutan ko oh my God. Pero ayun, pero nag-stop din ako doon kasi nahirapan ako. Parang hindi ko kayang i-balance yung pag-aaral ko kasabay nung shooting. Kasi mostly madaling araw lagi natatapos. Kaya ayun, na-stop ako. Tapos, ang gusto ko talaga ay maging doktor ng bata. Pero nung nag-senior high school na ako, doon ko lang na-realize na ang saya pala ng paggawa ng mga short films kasi marami kami mga projects na pinapagawan kami ng mga videos. Ganun. Tapos, ayun, nagsusulat din na rin ako nung mga junior high school ako sa Wattpad. Kaya doon din talaga nabuo yung pagkukwento ko siguro. Tsaka mahilig na rin ako magbasa ng mga Wattpad na libro doon.
Meron bang connection, Van, yung pag-arte mo nung bata ka sa pagkahilig mo sa pelikula?
Actually, wala po talaga. Nung senior high school lang talaga, doon ko lang na-realize na gusto ko yung pagkapelikula. Tapos yung rin pala, yung lolo ko, doon kasi sila nag-meet ng lola ko sa isang production daw. Yung lolo ko kasi, isa siyang film director, si Leonardo D. Pascual. Hindi ko alam kung kilala niyo siya, pero ayun.
I see.
Gusto ko kasi maging doktor, pero nung namayapa na siya, bigla kong din ko lang na-realize na gusto ko pala maging filmmaker. Tapos nasayangan ako kasi di mo lang ako nakahingi sa kanya na advice, gano'n. Ayun.
Yeah. Pero naabutan mo yung lolo mo?
Yes, naabutan ko siya. Pero ayun, doktor pa yung gusto ko pa nun. Maging doktor pa yung gusto ko.
Sayang, no? Thanks, Van.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Hi, everyone. So basically, I started out as an actor in the theater here in the province of Negros. And then when I turned college, I decided to make film because we have a small community of filmmakers here where like sila Eric Mati, Becky Galiaga, and Jay Abelio, Lawrence Fardo come from. So there was a time in college that no one was shooting anything. So I decided to make a film. It went well. And then after college, I stopped shooting. I was a host for ABS-CBN until ABS-CBN disappeared for some reason. And yeah, I decided to start shooting again 2018. And the film that got nominated now is my third film since then. Yeah.
Nice. But the first film, was it ever released? The first film that you made?
It was released in Cinema Region and here in Cine Negrense, here in Negros.
What was the title of that?
Jameson.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
I was a bit rusty then.
Can you talk a bit about Jameson? How did that come about?
Because my grandfather died in 2016, so the story was about him. Basically, me when I was a kid, and we have this small store because we're Filipino Chinese. We have a small store in downtown of Bacolod City. We were about to be kicked out because Gaisano City was gonna take the whole area. So I made a whole movie before we got kicked out. So basically that's it.
Nice.
Just so we can
Uh,
capture the moment, you know.
Right. And then that was 2018. Was there another film after that?
Yeah, in 2019, I shot Azúcar. It was aired in Cine Casimanwa. It's a Western Visayas film festival.
Hmm.
And it also got aired in Turkey in the Anatolia Film Festival.
Hmm.
And yeah, basically that's it.
Okay. Sige, let's talk later about your third film now.
Okay.
I'll go back to Kyle. So after you took film in college, right? Is this
Yes.
in Binilba?
UP film.
UP Film. All right.
UP din naman.
Um, uh, when you were in film school, malinaw na sa'yo that you'll be that you're gonna uh, have a career in directing and not any other technical category in film like editing or screenwriting. Malinaw na sa'yo na directing talaga yung gusto mo.
Yes. Also, I thought I was going to be a cinematographer. But then I've also found producing.
Right.
So now I'm balancing it, directing and producing as well. But right now, mostly producing.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I directed Kids on Fire.
Yeah, kasi it was released in 2021 in Cinemalaya, but prior to that, did it ever screen somewhere else?
So we premiered in Busan in South Korea and in Belgium, Film Fest Ghent. It also played at Neuchâtel in Switzerland, the Genre Film Festival, and some other festivals. It played in LA,
Okay.
LA, Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival, and Turkey, Indonesia, and Malaysia.
Was this 2020 pa before Cinemalaya?
So, yeah, so late 2020, I think that was October, in Ghent and Busan, and then it was just in 2021 that we got to screen in the Philippines.
Okay. So Kids on Fire, you made this after graduating na from film school?
Actually, this was my thesis film at UP.
Oh.
And then it took time in post-production. That's why I screened it in 2020.
Okay.
So we shot it, I think, 2018. So it's
Wow.
really been years since I directed this one.
Okay.
So I can't wait to do another one.
Right. But of course, you had several films prior to Kids on Fire. No? I see in your filmography, for example, that the first film listed here is Sanun. Is that how you say it? Sanun.
Sanan. It was shot in Thailand. Yeah.
Right. How did you do this? How did this come about?
So actually, that was part of the Amazing Thailand Film Challenge. It was a program of their Department of Tourism. So they funded, I think they chose like 20 teams of filmmakers, of pairs of filmmakers from around the world to shoot a short story in Thailand. And that's how we were able to shoot in Thailand.
Nice. So, how did you get to be paired with some other filmmaker? Did you apply for this?
You apply together. So I got my colleague from.
I see.
Everything was paid for by the Thai government.
Tapos yung language nito, Thai?
Yes, that was it. Thai, but it's in another dialect, I think. It's like,
interesting.
It's from we shot it in the northern part of Thailand, so right across Laos. So in our location, we could actually see Lao on the other side of the river, of the Mekong River.
So
It
ano
was
ka
a
nito?
fun experience.
College ka ba nito or were you still in high
I
school?
think I was probably 18.
Okay. Wala ka pa sa UP?
I was in UP
Okay.
already. Yeah.
UP
I was
ka
a
na.
film student that time, so I had to be out of school for around 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. All right. And then prior to Kids on Fire, you also had several shorts like Cinematic, Momento. Are these subjects that you had to submit for your courses?
Actually, yes. Cinematic is a dance film. I submitted it. It was for an experimental class, but luckily it screened in festivals. And that was actually the first time I was able to go to Europe. It's because of that homework, that experimental film. And Momento was also like a midterm requirement for a post-production class at UP. I only shot it for, our budget was 3,000 pesos, so it was really just me and my sister. And then it was picked up by MMFF. Yeah,
Okay.
where it won like the Manila Bulletin Best Short Award. So yeah.
That's nice. Sige. I'll get back to talk about Kids on Fire. I'll go to Van. Van, what was your first film? Ito bang Alexa?
Hindi po. First film ko po is Isa Akong Bata Nakukulong.
Okay.
Nung isang film festival sa SEU.
Anong year to?
2018.
All right. 2018. Ilang taon ka nito when you made this film?
17 years old po.
So, high school ka pa?
Yes po. Senior high school.
Senior high. All right.
Opo.
And then you went to Benil, tama ba?
Yes po.
Right. And you took film as well, right?
Yes po.
Yeah. So when you were in film school, are you still in film school, by the way?
Yes po. Third year po, pero ireg kasi nagbawas ng subjects dahil sa pandemic. Ang hirap.
Right. So
ng online classes.
yeah, I'm really amazed by the productivity. Kasi I looked at your filmography, parang nakalista sa Letterboxd 12 films. So itong mga nagawa mong films na ito, ganun din ba? Requirement for courses in your film school or not necessarily?
Hindi po. Lahat po yan, passion project lang po.
Galing. And then after you make them, you submit them to film fests.
Opo.
Right. Kasi actually, ang tinitingnan namin sa aming as reference, no, sa aming grupo is of course IMDb but also Letterboxd. But in your case, parang wala masyado pa sa IMDb, parang ang dami na sa Letterboxd na films na nakalagay. Pero curious lang ako sa mo siguro, Van, no, sa work regime mo. Like gaano katagal usually yung pagbuo mo ng isang pelikula?
Siguro po, depende rin po kasi sa ibang films ko po kasi may mga running time na 5 minutes lang, tapos may mga 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Pero usually po kapag 5 minutes siguro 1 week kasi talagang binabase ko na rin siya yung kwento sa kung ano yung budget namin at saka yung kakayahan ng mga ng mga crew.
Right.
Yun po.
1 week, is that the shoot lang or the whole process? Napuputol yata si Van, no?
Hello po.
Yeah, hi, that's fine. I was asking Van kung yung sinabi mo na 1 week, is that the shoot lang yan? Or lahat-lahat na, including writing?
Lahat na po.
Wow! Instant talaga, no? Sige. Later balikan kita no sa Alingasngas. I'll go back to Kurt. After making Azúcar, ito yung time na nag-ABS ka, tama?
No, I was already in ABS.
You were
before.
already. Okay. Yeah. So what were the beginnings of Sa Balay ni Papang?
I wrote the script the day that Peke Galiaga died, which was May 7. And then after a month of meeting with Jack, who was my co-writer, we finished the script within a month. That was around June. Then we just waited for the grant to arrive around October 24. We shot the film at around November 26 until December 6. And post-production, we finished the film January 15. Yeah.
So you submitted this in Sinihalaga, tama?
Yes, Sinihalaga.
Sinihalaga.
In January.
So you were already, while writing it, alam mo na that you will submit it to Sinihalaga?
No, at first when I was writing it, I just wanted to write it for the sake of making a film for Peke Galiaga. But then I realized that I don't think I'm gonna have enough money to produce it, so I sent it to Sinihalaga.
I see. Right. Why Peke Galiaga? How influential was Peke to you?
For everyone's information, Peke Galiaga is like the father of film and theater here in the province of Negros. He's very strict. He's a good teacher, and he's made a lot of pupils for film and for acting. For film, his students are like Eric Mati, Lawrence Fajardo. For the actors, it's like Joel Torre, Ronnie Lazaro. So Peke is very influential here in the province of Negros.
Right. So were you ever his student? Did you ever get
Yes.
to interact with him? Oh, okay.
I was his student, and I was also the student of his students, like a lot of students. Yeah.
That's nice. So I could imagine the sort of welcome reception of the community there when you shot the film, no?
Yeah. Everyone in the production was affiliated to Peke Galiaga. The actors, the production, So it's a wholesome thing. We have like a big community here.
Right. But yung crew mo in the first two films, were they also involved for Sa Balay ni Papang?
Yes, yeah. It's a small circle here in Bacolod and in Negros, so everybody knows each other.
That's nice. Is there a film school there?
No, but usually Direct Peke would give us like acting workshops. It's been running for more than 20 years.
Okay.
The classes are usually director's apprenticeship, cinematography, basic acting, and so on and so forth.
So now that he's not there anymore, paano napapatuloy yung mga workshops?
It's been passed on to his students, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, there hasn't been any class for like 3 years now. So,
I see. Okay, sige. Thanks for that story, Kurt. I'll ask Kyle about the beginnings of Kids on Fire. No? You said it was your thesis film. Paano nabuo yung idea about this film?
Yeah, so I actually wrote it in 2017. If you remember, during that time, our government was appealing to Metro Manila residents about this upcoming, the big one, yung biggest fault in Metro Manila. Um, the big one actually reminded me of my childhood fears about the end of the world, which I learned from church. So I remember I was really scared of the upcoming apocalypse, the second return of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
as they said. So I remember kasi nung time when I also learned about that, yung church, they send CDs to their members. And then yung CD na yun, it contained a recording daw of scientists who was a scientists who were able to record daw the sounds of hell because they really dug so deep that they were able to reach that point. Na yung recording na yun, it's just really a lot of people parang screaming in pain and shouting. Yeah. So I remember how traumatized I was for years after hearing that. So so for Kids on Fire, I wanted my audiences to experience the same. Like after watching the film, I want them to be to feel the trauma that I felt. Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
that was an inspiration of it.
But did you also grow up in a religious household?
So my family is a religious one. We are I think most of us are Christians, and my family is Protestant. So yeah, I was exposed to different kinds of
I see.
groups. Yeah.
Right. I wonder if they saw your
practices.
film and what was the reaction to your film.
Actually, they really liked it. They know the truths in it, and recently we had our house blessed by our childhood pastor, and surprisingly, he saw the film and he actually commended me for it.
Whoa. Really interesting. Those who haven't seen Kids on Fire, it's of course it's a story about religious hypocrisy. The what you see about religious figures may not be what's going on behind the scenes. So that's what the film explored. Of course, you mentioned that it was screened in several film fests, but then was it also kasi 2020 hindi siya umabot sa Cinemalaya, right? Ng 2020. Right. So
yes, 2021.
2021 na siya.
Screen, yes.
Yeah. The 2021 Cinemalaya was online, right? Kasi obviously the physical Cinemalaya is a different atmosphere, right? But the online one, I wonder what was, because I missed this one, the 2021 edition of Cinemalaya. I wasn't able to catch the screenings there. How was the online reaction to your film, Kyle? I'm just curious.
So actually, I haven't seen this film with a crowd. All our festivals, it's either
right,
they were online or I couldn't travel because of the travel ban. And I only got to see it during Cinemalaya's drive-in edition. But of course, I was inside the car, so wala pa rin feeling of
right.
In crowd, wala. There were no talkbacks. Everything was online. Even nakakapagod din. We had a lot of interviews via Zoom. So pagod na pagod ako during the Cinemalaya run. I think I'm happy na maraming naka-relate to it, even whether Catholics or Protestants, those who were once in Catholic schools, mga all girls or all boys. They also had like mga retreats similar to the film. So I think a lot of people really, I think, identified with our characters.
Right.
So yeah, happy naman ako sa reception and sa
That's
reviews.
nice. That's nice. Van, in your some of your films na explored LGBTQ identities, right? What was paano nagsimula itong idea mo behind Alingasngas ng mga Kuliglig?
Yung sa Alingasngas ng mga Kuliglig po ay nabuo siya dun kasi lagi ako naku-curious kapag umuulan tapos umaaraw, lagi nilang sinasabi may kinakasal na tikbalang. Tapos required sa amin na i-relate yung film sa films ni Don Jose Nepomuceno na manananggal. Pero hindi ko siya na-relate doon. Kaya naisip ko na lang, why not tikbalang na lang? Since medyo related naman since folklore din, Pinoy folklore. At ayun, parang napasok ko yung queer doon sa tikbalang kasi parang sincelebrate nila yung love kapag kinasal sila, tapos umaraw, tapos umulan. Ayun.
And then, alam mo na that you were gonna submit this to Meet Out Film Fest?
Yes po, kasi ni-require sa isang subject namin na mag-submit doon. Kumbaga ay na yung midterms namin. Tapos parang sinabihan lang kami na isubmit na rin doon yung midterm kasi sayang naman daw. Tapos ayun, nagulat ako nakapasok siya.
Pero anong subject ito? Ano talaga? Parang silent film subject? Ganon yung project? Homework?
Ano po, film theory. Kumbaga mga theories po. Tapos ayun.
Alright. So parang ano na lang, no? Parang coincidence kasi yun din yung hinahanap ng Film Fest na silent film, kumbaga.
Opo.
Right. Ano yung mga challenges na napagdaanan niyo while shooting Alingasngas, Vahn?
Actually, sobrang dami po ng challenges na naharap namin since, ayun nga, sinut namin siya sa gitna ng pandemya. Tapos, sa probinsya din namin siya sinut sa Laguna. Tsaka hindi rin kami nakapag-location check since, ayun nga, sobrang liit din ang budget na inilaan para sa amin. Kaya nung dumating na kami doon mismo sa location, hindi namin nasunod yung storyboard namin. Kaya nahirapan din kami doon. Tapos, kailangan namin umakyat ng bundok ng sobrang basang-basa at sobrang lambot ng lupa kasi kakaulan lang. So, may mga crew ako na nadulas. Actually, lahat yata kami nadulas kasi sobrang dulas talaga niya. Tapos, lumulubog kami kada tapak namin sa lupa.
Yeah.
Tapos, ayun, so tumawid din kami ng parang ilog para makapunta lang din sa isang location. At ayun, yun yung struggles namin sa production stage ng film po namin.
Ilang days yung shooting niya dito?
2 days po.
2 days. Saan sa Laguna to?
Sa may Alaminos, Laguna.
Okay, alright. And then, gaano katagal yung post-prod?
Sa post-production po, parang binigyan po kami ng 1 buwan para mag-edit po.
Alright. Anong naging inspiration mo in terms of the design, the visual design of the film? How did you work with your cinematographer or the prod designer?
Yung sa inspiration ko talaga sa look niya is mga silent films simula pa lang noon. Actually, wala pa talaga akong idea nun sa mga silent films. First time ko lang din makanood ng isang silent film dahil lang sa nakapasok sa isang film festival na silent film. So, kailangan ko mag-aral tungkol doon. At yung sa kwento naman po, inspired po siya sa pinaka-paborito kong film na Shape of Water po.
Oh, yeah. It's actually a curious story, no? Kasi I'm not sure kung saan to lumabas yung Rafflesias. Have you heard of this?
Hindi po.
There's this other short film called Looking for Rafflesias. Not sure if I pronounce it correctly. And Other Fleeting Things. Parang ganun din yung The Queering of Tikbalang. May ganun din siyang kwento, no? Pero ano lang, no, parang coincidence. I'm pretty sure coincidence kasi same year lumabas and parang same concept. But obviously our society resonated with Alingasngas more, no? The fact that it's nominated. No? Sige, thanks for that story, Vahn. No? Kurt, siguro same question as Vahn's. Challenges you faced while shooting sa Balay ni Papang and other maybe funny anecdotes you can remember.
The challenges, well, I think the long shots were the challenges because me as a director, I'm very OC with things. So if I see anything wrong with the shot in terms of design and acting, I have to fix it there or I have to fix it in post. We had a shot wherein it was just one character in the theater, following him up, all the way up to the tech booth. And then when the camera tilted back, the theater was full of people. So it was a challenge because we had to handle like about 70 people in terms of acting and blocking as well. Yeah.
And there, hindi na sila naka-masks, right? The audience.
Oh no one wore masks in the film.
Yeah. Interesting.
It was shot in 2020.
2020.
Oh, sorry, 2019.
Okay.
No, sorry. When was the pandemic? 2020.
2020
right?
Sa atin.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
2020.
Right. And then I'm pretty sure your background in acting, no, can or was able to help you sort of train your actors, the actors in your film.
We actually had workshops beforehand just so that the characters would know each other, they would understand who they are and their connection with one another. Yeah. So I'm a very OC kind of director.
So did you have to do auditions for your cast?
No, what I usually do, I go to the actors that I want and then I pick which one of them would be suitable for the role. I do that because there are some actors here in my province who have, attitude, those kind of things. So I usually don't work with people who have attitude. Basically, that's it.
Right. And then Kyle, where did you shoot Kids on Fire? And any funny stories you can remember from that shoot?
So we shot it inside UP Diliman and in a resort in Laguna.
Okay.
Something funny. What is it funny? Having to deal with our actor, explaining everything to him properly, and with the guidance of his parents, of course, because all the other kids were in high school already, so they knew, they fully understood what we were shooting, and we had to, of course, explain to JC, the lead, but actually it didn't give us it wasn't that hard for us because the parents, the father specifically, had such conversation already with the kid.
Okay.
So we were really lucky that that's the case.
That's nice.
So,
So may pagkaano na parang medyo mature na si JC actor.
Yes, siguro funny na lang is when I was directing him, like how he was going to do it. Yun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna get into details.
Yeah. Of course, you had Mystica with you, right? And we all know Mystica is a big character. What was it like working with her?
Actually, having Mystica in the film is like one of the best decisions I made for the film. We know that recently she's been quite controversial, but that didn't stop me from getting her because I knew what she could do as an actor. And yeah, I think Mystica, she got exactly the same qualities as her role, Sister Evelyn. She's very passionate about the things that she believes in. And, she's funny, and yeah, I was even surprised that she had this channel on YouTube where she was preaching. Kasi sabi niya, after acting, parang she got into preaching then. So yeah, that was actually a surprise.
So you found that out after you shot the film or prior to shooting?
So I contacted her through Facebook. I think I got her number from a poster because she was, I think, selling soap.
Okay.
And then contacted her. I found out she was in Cavite. So
Yeah.
I drove to her place. I pitched the film to her, and I got to see her and then para small goto place that she was running. Tapos, yun. That's when she actually told me that I think this character is actually written for me.
Yeah.
Kasi,
Yeah.
yun nga, she used to do the same things.
That's nice. Sige. I think the next second siguro half or round of questions would be more general. No? I want to ask you who your filmmaking influencers are. Let's go back to Vahn. Who do you look up to in filmmaking?
Si Direct Jun Robles Lana po talaga yung nilook up ko pagdating sa mga paggawa ng pelikula. Dahil part din siya ng LGBT community na ayun, part din ako.
Right.
Yun po.
So is there any particular film of his that you saw that made you think he's a good director to aspire to idolize?
Yung po, Die Beautiful. Napanood ko po siya nung MMFF. Tapos hindi ko ina-expect na magiging ganun pala yung kwento. Kala ko, kasi di ba nakasanayan na natin before na Vice Ganda Films noon. Tapos noong 2016 biglang nawala siya. Hindi siya naging part ng MMFF. Tapos ayun, napanood ko siya kasama yung family ko. Tsaka yung Barber's Tales na.
Barber's Tales, right. That's
po.
nice, yeah. We got to interview Jun Lana as well because he was nominated for Best Film this year for Big Night. So a very interesting story then. Kurt, who are your influences in filmmaking?
Here in the country, well, we have Peke Galiaga and
yes,
yeah. And internationally, I would go for Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Any particular Kubrick film that
The Shining and Lolita. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen Lolita.
I've seen all of his films actually. Yeah. So.
Right. Kyle.
I love filmmakers who do disturbing films. Gaspar Noé, Yorgos, si Darren Aronofsky, si Ari Aster.
Mm,
Here in Philippines, like Lino Brocas work and Mike De Leon.
nice. Favorite Pinoy film ever? Who wants to start? Kurt.
I can go ahead if you guys want.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a tie for me. It's Oro Plata Mata and Seclusion.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Right. Eric Mati, right?
Yeah,
Seclusion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
That's nice. Kyle, may naisip ka na?
Siguro Maynila sa Kapunan. Sa mga Pinoy.
The classic. Yeah. Van.
Ako po, Oda sa Wala, tsaka Barber Steels pa rin.
Barber's Tales. What was the first one?
Oda sa Wala.
Oda sa Wala.
By Dwayne
Yes,
Baltasar.
yes. Yeah. I love that film as well. All right. Those are good choices. I wonder because all of you write, no, as well. Most of you do multiple roles in film, in your films. What inspires your screenwriting in particular? Do you like to read books, or what inspires you to create stories? Kurt.
For me, what inspires me to make stories is telling how you see life through your eyes. And most of the things that I write, I like to write things about history, period. So yeah, for me, that really rocks my boat.
Van.
Actually, ganun din po ako. Tsaka own experiences na rin po.
Own experiences.
Opo.
So do you
I
find
mean,
it easy?
di po ako
Yeah.
na in love sa tikbalang. Baka isipin niyo na in love po sa tikbalang. Pero, ayun, own experiences.
Right. But in terms of translating these inspirations into writing, in the act of writing itself, parang ano na lang ba? Parang madali na lang siya. Once nabuo na siya sa isip nyo, mabilis na lang yung pag-translate to a script. I'm pretty sure Van kasi oo yung sagot mo dito kasi you make films in 7 days, right?
Opo.
Yeah.
Pero may mga ibang parts po talaga na nakakailang revision din ako. Kasi parang hindi ko paramdam na hindi
Right.
pa siya ready, ganun.
Yeah. How about you, Kyle?
I usually explore themes of ontology, metaphysics, tsaka exploitation. And these are parang concepts that I could hardly articulate, so I bring them to film. So yeah, I think the films are my outlet in the way I explain how I see the world. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to verbalize.
Wow, that's a really nice way of putting it. What do you feel is the least appreciated aspect of a film, and why should people become more aware of it? The least appreciated aspect of a film.
Least appreciated film.
Anyone can start.
For me, it's the production. I think it's the whole production because most people think that it's just the director, the actors, and the writer, but they don't really understand how hard a production designer works, how a lighting director works. So I think it's the whole production that I think we should be more educated about. Yeah, they work harder than all of us.
Right. Kyle, how about you?
Yeah, I think the same because usually directors get the spotlight, yeah, but most people don't really understand that it's a work of a whole community. Well, actually, in my film, there were total of 150 people who contributed to do Kids on Fire.
Yeah.
So I think everyone behind the production are supposed to be seen and appreciated for that.
Van?
Actually, yun din po yung sagot ko. Lalo na dito sa bansa natin na hindi masyadong na-appreciate yung arts.
Mm,
Yun po.
right. I'm also curious how you were able to adapt, to the pandemic situation. Obviously, si Van and Kurt, you shot your films, your most recent films during the pandemic na, no? So meron na sigurong restrictions. But also, Kyle, you produced Filipiniana, no? Which was, when was this shot, Kyle?
So actually, it was shot before the pandemic.
Before,
And-
all right.
Yes, and we got to premiere it at a festival right before lockdown.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay,
that was my last physical festival experience. And then
right.
after that, yeah, that was in February. Then we went home March.
Lockdown.
COVID changed our lives.
Yeah, but since then, did you mention producing other films after that?
Actually, I am producing some films. One is in post production now,
Okay,
and the other one we're about to shoot next month.
all right.
So
Yeah, so I'm curious
it
ako,
would
no?
be it would be my first time shooting a film in the pandemic.
Oh, so you're directing
But
it
yeah,
or as producer?
no, I'm producing.
Producing. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. What had to change? No, kasi you all experienced shooting prior to the pandemic and during the pandemic. What for you was the biggest thing to adapt to?
I think the insecurity, if you're actually going to get it done, but if there's a breakout within the set,
Yeah,
right? You're supposed to prioritize the health of every crew member.
right.
So that's one thing. Even if you've secured the budget, the equipment, the cast, you're still not sure if there's going to have an emergency like that.
Yeah. Kasi
Especially we're shooting in Mindanao, so we're flying our crew from Metro Manila. So what if something bad happens? I hope not.
yeah.
So that would force us to stop and waste whatever we booked already.
Yeah.
So
It's a big variable, no? Na hindi mo
yeah.
there's this parang unknown, big unknown. You're just praying and hoping that everything will go smoothly. How about for you, Kurt?
For me, you had to pay for more. A good example is before the pandemic, everyone could just squeeze in a van. Right now, you can't do that. So you have to get more vans. You have to get more waiting areas just for everyone to observe social distancing. Yeah, and it's a bit more expensive.
Yeah. How about you, Van? Anong napansin mong difference?
Ayun din po, yung uncertainties, tsaka lalo-lalo na sa budget. Since kailangan mo pa magpa-test, tapos mag-quarantine,
Yeah.
yun po.
Yeah, but I'm happy, no, that despite those challenges, you're still out there. You're not letting these things hinder you from continuing with your craft, which is really inspiring. I hope it inspires student filmmakers out there, no? That even young filmmakers, short filmmakers like you, I'm sure who are faced with budget difficulties and shooting difficulties, still continue to do this. Siguro our last question, I want to ask you guys, what can we expect from you next? Kyle mentioned already that he's doing some films. Maybe a little more detail, Kyle, if it's all right with you. what can we expect from you? And also, aside from the things that you're doing now, plans for a full-length film, perhaps?
So now I think it's my target to do another one, directorial work this year. 'Cause it's really been a while. We shot my last directorial work in 2018, so it's been years. But yeah, I'm shooting next month VR film, virtual reality.
Oh wow!
It's really something new to the whole crew, and hope it's a success. Plans for a feature, I have a lot in mind, but I'm really giving myself some time, because
Right.
it's not an easy venture, and I
Yeah.
want to make sure that it's actually what I want to do. Because if I decide to do it, it's going to take years for me to actually get it done. So yeah, I'm being lenient to myself.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Kurt?
For me right now, I'm submitting short scripts for short film grants in various bodies here in the Philippines, and I'm currently writing on a full length. Yeah, I'm hoping for it to be a musical. I want to try a musical this year.
Wow. VR musical. Let's wait for Van's answer. Sige, Van, what's in store for you?
Ako po baka tapusin ko muna yung college kasi grabe talaga yung stress na binigay sa akin nung Alingasngas sa Kuliglig. Since first time ko lang din makatanggap na ng grant, tsaka ayun, sobrang stress.
Right. So that's the priority, finish school. But I'm pretty sure you have these ideas in mind already about future projects. Meron na ka na bang nasimulang germ of a full-length project?
Wala pa po actually. More on short films pa lang talaga yung nagagawa ko sa mga scripts ko po.
That's good. That will come soon. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. I've had fun talking to you guys. Again, congrats on your nomination, and we all wish you well and luck on your upcoming projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you po.
SFFR for having us.
Welcome.